guys, welcome back to Philosophy in Jiu Jitsu. Today's philosophical quote comes from one of our subscribers. See if I pronounce this right. His name is YuYu Altikriti. Say that again. YuYu Altikriti. Altikriti. YuYu Altikriti. He wrote a lot of quotes. The reason I chose him, there's a lot of quotes, guys, so if you put your quotes on there, just be patient. I'll get to them, okay? Please keep them coming as well. I really enjoy reading them and analyzing them from a philosophical jiu-jitsu aspect. He wrote several, and I like what he said. He said, I put many and have many more because there's like only one person who put in a quote. This was actually written right when the video came out, so there's a lot more than one person. But I appreciate his urgency and his intention to get these quotes. So he put like 10. So I'm gonna put the one that kind of resonated with me today, and I'll read it. If you don't risk anything, you risk even more. If you don't risk anything, you risk even more. Okay, so this is for you, YuYu, and everybody else. I'm gonna explain this concept and a jiu-jitsu technique in different ways. One will be like how to sweep your opponent, how to take down your opponent, how to pass your opponent's guard, and even how to submit. Okay. So I really like that quote, and it makes me think of this. So I'll start with maybe some of the more basic stuff. Borrow you, please. If you don't take a risk in takedowns, right, and you just kind of stop, then you're gonna fall behind because of your lack of urgency. So for example, if my opponent's Fernie, we have our mutual grips, and he decides to do like a shoulder throw, do like a ponceanage, right? And as he shoulder throws me, I counter, I'm being patient, right? So go ahead and go. And I'm able just to slip out, but I don't take the risk to throw him back. He's gonna catch on and eventually throw me. So if we keep doing this like roundabout, and I'm avoiding his throw, right? He goes again, I'm avoiding his throw. On the third one, he knows what I'm doing, and as soon as I go, he's gonna do like a haragoshi. When I come around, he's gonna take me down. So the risk I wanna take in this concept is if I counter, or rather if I defend, I immediately counter. So as he tries to throw me, I counter and immediately go to like a tomenage. That would be one example. So you have to understand that when you're competing or fighting or sparring, you have to take the risk at the right time. That doesn't mean go crazy, go without an intention, without a technique, without a plan, right? And sometimes the plan is subconscious. You don't really understand the plan. You've been drilling and you've been training to a point where you're able to execute a game plan. That would be a perfect example of how this quote would conceptualize the takedown. You see this in judo, and wrestling, excuse me, and in jiu-jitsu. Another way I can kind of capitalize on this quote about taking risk would probably be the concept of movement from passing. Right? So let's say I'm gonna pass someone's guard, and as I pass someone's guard, I get really close, they throw the leg, right? But I kind of stay patient, which is good. But then, not only patient, I kind of just stop moving because I don't want to take the risk, because if I go, he might recover, he might put me in a triangle, so we kind of stay here. I really want to take the risk to pass by creating opportunities and chains of movement. So when I move, no matter what he does, as he approaches, I stay patient, but I start moving the other way. And let's say he frames my shoulder, then I start coming back the other way. Then he frames this shoulder, then I can start moving. I need to take the risk, because if I stay in one position the whole time and he's framing well and defending well, I'm never going to pass the guard because I never want to take the risk to do so. I might lose this great position, but I also will take that opening to try to pass his guard. That's how it would relate to guard passing. So, and also it's not to be confused with risk taking, again, without a plan. I'm not just gonna go recklessly into his guard and just kind of, no, I'm gonna create a pattern of movement and try to start capitalizing on how I'm dictating my pressure. Another great example would be from the guard, okay? If I have a closed guard, an open guard, a sit-up guard, if this is self-defense, MMA, or sport competition, I can approach this the same way, in the same idea behind taking risk. I only want to take the risk at the right time. I want the right time, right? And I want not only the right time, but the right off balance to execute. Those two things are very important. How I off balance my opponent and how I'm gonna use the timing to do so. So for example, if I have him in closed guard and I'm safe here, it's definitely, I'd be safe here in like a competition, a sport, no strikes. In self-defense though, I wouldn't be safe here. Like, I'm safer than other positions, sure, but I'm not safe. He can throw punches, he can rain elbows, he can headbutt. So it's very important that although I want to be patient, I also want to administer a very tactical approach to how I'm going to start to utilize my closed guard to off balance him and to take the risk that I need to take at the right time, right? So if we were to look at the risk taking, if it was to be like a risk taking like waterfall, meaning I'm just risk taking all the time and I just recklessly kind of open up my guard to take the risk and go for something, or I open up for the arm bar and I don't execute shoulder control, well, yeah, it's not going to be very good. But instead, I want to take the risk and start off balancing my opponent. So if it's competition, I could start to off balance him by just making him uncomfortable. What does that look like? Well, I can let go of my closed guard, punch his armpit, and just make him post, right? Exactly. Then I can start bringing in my knees, collapsing, maybe go for a triangle, maybe omoplata. If this was MMA, right? And he knows what we're doing, and he's in my closed guard, and he wants to throw strikes, I definitely want to off balance him by one, protecting my head, and two, connecting my knees to my chest. So as he throws a punch, I'm able to off balance and immediately get control of his outside shoulder. I'm doing this without thinking, and I'm taking the risk. I'm not just staying here, like off balancing and not doing anything about it. I got to go. So as he throws the punch, I catch, take the risk, and I start connecting my positions here. Okay? Another approach. Let's say I have his back. This is a great example, I think. I have his back, and you see this a lot in sport competitions. It's very important to master positional control, but it's one thing to master it, and it's one thing to stall out and never take the risk to choke. So when do I take that risk? Well, that's a different question for another day. It's more about understanding that risk taking at this point is going to allow me to grow. So let's say he's stalling and I can't really choke him. Well, there's other things I can do. I can, as he tries to escape, I can readjust, right? Climb all the way out, readjust my hips, and then get my other hook. Maybe he's defending really well. I can start to choke with a bow and arrow choke. I can use my gi to choke as well. I can, as he's escaping, I can use a Kimura trap to get the arm bar. If maybe he's really holding my hands and not letting me choke, this is an opportunity to take a risk in MMA. I could take my hand out, bring my hand across, crank his neck, and then come back immediately with a choke. Use my glove on my cheek because I won't be able to come here, or cup his crown, and I can choke there as well. Taking the risk to set up these different chokes, right? In MMA, I could also smother, punch, pull on the nose to make me come back. Taking the risk, guys, in general, will allow your jiu-jitsu to grow layers of attacks. And I don't mean attacks as in, I'm gonna submit you, but the concept of attack can work with positional relevance, right? So I can attack positions. I can get higher on the mount. I can get the back. I can pass. I can make my opponent panic with anxiety from pressure. And I can really capitalize on that anxiety of my opponent. So to take the risk and to use it to be capitalized on is a great way to understand that if you don't take the risk, you're never growing. And this is a part where I tell my students that here is the place to always take the risk. And so getting swept by your teammate, getting submitted by your teammate, getting passed by your teammate, getting choked by your teammate, getting taken down, those are opportunities of growth. That's where you have to really become understanding of the growth mindset. You could come into the training and just stay stuck and never take the risk, but you'll never grow. You can do a competition that you feel you could win, but maybe not go to a competition that challenges you, that really challenges you, and stay, hey, I'm the champion of the local arena and the local tournament. Or you can do both, do the local tournament and challenge yourself. Why? Why not? Because if you don't, you're gonna continue to practice that same concept from Jiu Jitsu into your life. Now, I don't know where you are in your life, but I know that if you're practicing that in Jiu Jitsu, you're probably practicing that in life. I could be wrong, and I hope you prove me wrong if that's the case. But 9 out of 10 times, I would think that someone who plays a very passive, and there's nothing wrong with passivity in Jiu Jitsu, but when I say passive in this concept or in this context, I mean it in the way that people approach Jiu Jitsu, where you're not taking a risk, you're not growing your Jiu Jitsu. And then when you think about why you haven't improved and you see other students improve, maybe catch you up, maybe they submit you now, and you're still stuck in why am I not improving? It could be because of your lack of risk taking. You have to take a risk. You have to throw yourself out there. If you get armbarred, you get armbarred. If you get your back taken, you get your back taken. If you get caught, you get caught. That's okay. Jiu-Jitsu is very humbling, and it teaches you that you're not that great. And it's why I chose to do this over 16 years ago, because it made me realize what I am not. And it made me realize what I am. So I think this was a great quote. I really enjoyed picking it to really explain the concepts so people, students can really understand how far can your Jiu-Jitsu go, and not only how you can perceive this in, let's say, Jiu-Jitsu, but also how you can perceive this in life. And if you feel stuck in your Jiu-Jitsu and you're kind of, maybe your coach is too busy right now, maybe, because you have to understand your coaches are very busy. They're running a business or teaching classes of so many students. So it's not that they have anything against you, but maybe also you didn't approach them with this. Maybe you're not aware of it, but maybe you feel stuck in your Jiu-Jitsu. I bet you anything it's because you're not risk-taking. What area do you feel comfortable in your Jiu-Jitsu? Okay, what areas don't you? You already know. As soon as I said that, you probably thought of them already. So think of those positions and start in those positions. And if you don't want to get tapped out 10 times by your teammate, okay, I understand. You have to. This is how you're going to get better. But if you're still worried about getting hurt, then pick someone you trust in your school and pick someone that you feel you can do well against. This is how you start. If you're a blue belt, pick a white belt. If you're a white belt, pick someone smaller that you can work back escapes with. Back escapes is an example of this. But if you don't take the risk, you're never going to grow in Jiu-Jitsu. You might improve, for sure, because you're always going to improve with rolling, but you're not going to improve drastically over time. It's going to be subtle, it's going to be short, they're going to be small increases in skill. But if you take the risk in your Jiu-Jitsu and your positions, and you learn everything and you work the whole system, at the same time perfect your game and what you're good at, then I guarantee you will have real growth. And if you can apply that to your life, I'm no life coach, but I guarantee you that it'll improve some sort of aspect in your life that you may be struggling with. So what's your assignment? Look at all the positions you are in Jiu-Jitsu where you're not taking a risk and kind of identify why you're not taking them. And then number two, tell yourself to take the risk, and you'll see how far you can go. And if you get passed or swept or whatever, that's okay. You grow little by little, but then in the long term, the value in that growth is going to be so much more profound, because you're going to grow into a complete martial artist because of the risks you did take. So thank you for submitting that quote. I really enjoyed this philosophical take on risk taking. And please guys, send more quotes. We're gonna be doing this every week. I'm really excited about this and I really enjoy reading them, and I'm gonna do my best to do all of them. So the more you send, the more I can really do like a deep dive into my experience as a coach. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have more quotes for me, also leave them on the comment section. And stay tuned for more of these. I think they're awesome. I love philosophy, I love Jiu Jitsu, and I love using Jiu Jitsu to explain, I guess, ideas and concepts in a philosophical lens. So until next time guys, I hope you guys be safe, and I hope you guys are training and improving, and we'll see you guys soon.